Welcome everyone to the start of a new gameplay series on Shadow Empire. Now I have done one series on this already, but we're coming back to the game because there's been a lot of updates, and one of the other changes is that Shadow Empire is now, or will very soon, be available on Steam. So if you were waiting, I know a few people were, for the game to be launched on Steam before playing, then now's the time to pick it up. The other big change, as highlighted here on the left, is that Vic has decided to add airplanes to the game. So that's a pretty big game mechanic change, but there's other changes since my series went live. And we'll see one of those right away with the history class here. So now, in order to kind of inject a little bit more of a story the way you want the game to play out into the planet creation side of things, you now have a history or several different options you can choose here. They kind of gear the planet's creation in a way that might be more suitable to your tastes. I like to choose the survival stress, which is the defragmentation of power went further on your planet than others. Expect many regimes to be present. I kind of like this really fractured, chaotic. I feel like it's a little bit more of a chaotic environment under which the world is. I mean, to give everyone a background, Shadow Empire is supposed to be some thousands of years in the future. There was a galactic republic, and then it went through some kind of collapse for whatever reason you want to invent. I think that there's an actual reason, or maybe Vic has one in his head and he never actually said it, but I like it best that it's left to our imagination. And after this big collapse, we're on one planet that was part of this galactic republic, and we're left to kind of pick up the pieces. Okay, so I'm going to choose survival stress, and I'll choose alien life. This would have been pretty fun on the sand, dune-like planet that I had chosen. It would have guaranteed us, like worms or something like that. But I think we already had something like that, didn't we? I don't remember. Anyway, it's nice to. The alien life, by the way, is not necessarily friendly, and it can be horrendously difficult to deal with. I just came off a game I'm testing for this, to get accustomed to the new patch, and the alien life in there are like, seriously, they're like medium tanks. They're very difficult to deal with. So, what are my planet generation settings? Pretty usual for me, except for I'll be using complete after colonization fog of war. I typically like to do the no map, otherwise complete, which allows you to see the whole map even after you get into the game. The difference between these, complete, that you don't see the planet whatsoever. You don't see how it was formed. You don't see the mountains or anything. Complete after colonization kind of lets you see the geography of the planet. And if we study it enough, we might have an idea about where we are on the planet when we're dropped in. No map, otherwise complete, means you get to see you see all the terrain on the planet. You just don't know where any of the cities are, where any of the dividing lines are. And to me, for role-playing the situation of being on a Galactic Republic planet and then everything going dark, seems to me that you would know the planet's geography. So that's why I like that one the most for role-playing purposes. But this is the complete after colonization or the complete are better if you want like a pure 4X experience. I'll start with just one city-state, although you can start with more if you want. I'm going to take one additional army, and this is because I was so chewed up by the aliens in my previous game that I think having one army per zone for the majors will help us cope with those a little bit better. And then this is the big change. Air forces are now enabled, so I haven't really played around with planes very much. That'll be a learning experience. Hopefully I'll be able to continue my side game at the same time in parallel, just so I can continue to learn more about airplanes. We'll be playing on regular difficulty, which I already find pretty challenging. And I've gone ahead and disabled epochs. I don't really like them. It seems like there's... like, the good ones are at most okay, and the bad ones can end up ruining the game for you. You usually get some kind of like unrest ones or like personal conflict ones. And it comes about the time when you're already conquering cities and having rebellions, it can really tilt the game on its head. So I'm going to avoid those this time. Now to the actual planet creation. So I picked Siwa, I think. This doesn't look like Siwa at all. Did I pick Siwa? I might not have picked the right one. Let me just pick something which is kind of what I want, because, I don't know, it's all sandy. Let's pick something like Earth-like. So the Siwa is an Earth-like planet, and that's what I was going for here. Tilt 44 degrees through 23. This is pretty good. It's a low gravity. Wow, this is basically Earth, except for smaller and much smaller gravity. A little bit further out. Almost the same spin, almost the same tilt, though. I think it's a little bit less for Earth, but yeah, let's run with this one. And let's see if it ends up being a sand planet. Did I choose Siwa? No, I think we didn't. I think we chose Siwa, yeah. I was worried that for a second I had chosen the sand planet. But looks good. Okay, 4% mountains, a little bit low. I think we'll re-roll this one. So the idea is here not to give myself an impossible game. Which I didn't really do that last time, but as I'm still learning how to min-max in this game a bit better, this is kind of a nice planet. A lot of ocean. And with a lot of ocean comes the marsh, and I have to say, I don't like the marsh as much. Let's see, is there too much of it? Maybe just a bit too much here. By the way, just to reiterate this point, I haven't spoken about it in this series, but I mentioned it a lot in the last one. The planet generation in this game is just phenomenal. I mean, Vic really went all in on the science, and I can imagine doing that too. It sounds like a fun little exercise, fun little project just to make a super detailed planet creation system. And this is right up there with the best of them. I can't think of a planet generator that is as good or better than this. So, it's up there. 34% mountains, gonna re-roll that one right away. Mountains are just such a pain to get through. Yeah, so anything over 20% will probably re-roll. Okay, 20%. I want under 20%. Give me like 14. Okay, 9 is reasonable. 19% oceans. This is bizarre. So if there's not too much marsh, this is okay. But I did see a fair amount, I think. Okay, so this is, yeah, here's a clump of it. Lots of pockets of water, which I don't mind. There's no ships in this game, although there is, at least in theory, a plan for those to be developed. I don't think that they need to implement ships, but that's fine. If Vic wants to do it, that's okay. He already had those in his previous games as well, so. I like this big open field area. So the problem is, if I go forward here, if I continue, we'll have to, the only way we can go back a step is by restarting. Let me re-roll again and see if we can get a little bit less on the ocean front. And mainly I just want a little bit less on the marsh front, and it looks like I'm being rewarded here. Yeah, this is looking really good now. And I love these long, thin mountain chains. I don't like the very thick ones. I really don't like those thick ones. So there's two really thick ones here. But this is a good plan. Okay, so I think we have one more step before we can't go before we can't see the planet anymore. So as soon as we choose the correct disposition of plant life and all that, the biosphere, we need to make sure we actually study the planet. I'm going to try to get atmospheric human hazard down to none. And the reason I want that is because I want to really utilize farming. I mean real farming, where you have one farm and it just spans out on its own. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to do. Okay, so none here. We have 0 value. That's fine. Moss and grass. This looks like a good... I think this might be our planet. There's probably some forest? Maybe? Maybe not. This is pretty barren. Yeah, there's like no forest at all. This is unusual. So that's interesting. Do I want a planet with no forest at all? Not really. It's got everything else I want. It has also an aquatic, very large, 11-meter herbivore known as the Veracolincanth, or however you want to pronounce it. We get it. We got to be the one who determines how we pronounce it, because it's our planet. We are the people who named them, right? Now I'm gonna re-roll. The 40% auction is just too high. don't want imperfect there though. Still looking for a none. I probably could pause and then come back to you when we get the planet going. Probably should. Just really hoping we can get something very quickly. But yeah, we can see there's cloud forest. Okay, perfect. So this is, let's just assume that this is going to be, wow, that is a big old forest though. In my opinion, too big. Is it? Yeah, this is too much forest. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when I finally found the perfect conditions. Well, we're kind of back to square one here. Unfortunately, I just can't find, maybe I've rolled about 50 different maps, and I cannot find a forest map that doesn't have, you know, like 50% of the planet covered in forest. I'd like to believe that there's room for a middle ground between like almost completely forest and like no forest whatsoever, but after 50 rolls of the dice, nothing has come up, so we'll just run with this. This will be a very flat, open, I mean, again, this planet only has moss and grass. I would have liked it if there was like bushes or shrubs, I mean, stuff like that, but well, anyways, let's continue on with this. I think it's a little bit less than ideal, but yeah, okay, I didn't look at the planet enough, but thankfully I have my recording. I will go back and watch my own YouTube video to remember where everything is. Anyway, so this is Zizalium Oriana, colonized in the year 7013, and it received colonists for 900 years. 415 million people, 4%, 1%, 96% agriculture, mining, and services. 36 zones. Damn, that's a lot of zones. I actually quite like this. So it was a small groups of poor and desperate farmers were the original people on the planet. Then a mining company showed interest. Special deposits attracted more people. Then the sector's mining ministry relocated there. Ore processing entered. Mining hub. Small groups of expert farmers arrived after that. That's interesting. Then farmers on the planet managed to bioengineer a plant-based drug that has high demand off-world. I guess it's high demand. Valuable deposit has been found deep in the deep layer. Miners flocked to the planet. So it's interesting. It's a planet that's really built upon mining and farming simultaneously. It's a little unusual for a sci-fi planet, which makes it very cool, very unique, and I want to run with it. So let's just see what happens after the fall. Here comes the Dissolution War. Okay, so Apocalypse. We're down from 400 and whatever million people to 3.5 million. 3.5 million is actually a huge number of people left. That's a sizable number of people. Half of them are scavengers, 20% are hunters, only 6% are raiders, and 23% are farmers. Let's see, what do we have here? Neighboring systems start hamstering goods and liquids. Several major companies evacuated their high-tech installations from the planet. Liquid energy shortages decrease the amount of cargo ships visiting the planet. Pirate fleets. Trade has stopped. An unknown and extremely virulent disease wiped out Legalis. So that's one of the planets that we never even saw, but if we didn't have the fog of war on, you could actually see the planet with all its cities before the Dissolution War and then after. Out of nowhere, a giant unmanned spaceship crashed on Makonum. Oh, wow. A powerful raider clan decided to set an example and killed all their enemies in Agalion. A forgotten nuclear reactor went into meltdown, radiating Apellum. And a religious cult briefly takes prominence and uses nuclear weapons to destroy Vothorus, Celoria, Landing, and Osolia. Wow. So interesting. I wonder how many zones are there left? Does it tell me here? After planetary government has disintegrated, anarchy and technology loss did not help at all in making the population food self-sufficient again. Some starvation. Keep in mind that over 206 years have passed since the Dissolution War started. Over the long aftermath, or Dark Age decades, that followed the total collapse, the population levels have been under continued stress. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I think we'll just run with it then. We'll see how this goes. So, welcome to Zizalium Oriana. That name. Does not exactly roll off the tongue. So again, I'm just going to try to let this game build me a story to tell. I'm not really going in with any kind of ideas about what I want to do. I'm just going to try to roll with the punches. For like a D&D session, if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons, you had a DM. It's kind of what I imagine he would have to do, he or she. They just need to kind of roll with the punches what the characters do. It's also the characters doing that too, so that's creativity. I think we'll try to run with that. Anyways, the given name. What is this? This is the Tortuga Union or Federation. Tortuga Federation. That's fine. I usually, for like the space trading games, I usually say Tortuga Trade Federation. So we'll be the Tortuga Federation. And in charge of the Federation, I think a president does make sense. We'll choose a nice light blue, which is part of my logo, I think. And maybe get this green. Is that's a nice looking. I always like those kind of colors. Okay, so now we have this hammer and anvil, which is kind of a cool one. The go-to for me is normally, actually it's not on here at all. I don't think I like any of these other ones. We'll probably go with... Okay, this one's not bad. It reminds me of the Federation. We could go with that. This kind of reminds me of my logo. It's kind of like a turtle. It's a gear. Not very... I don't know. I don't think that this as a banner is something that you're going to write home about, but... Oh, that's interesting. It's a castle in there. But this is pretty cool, and I think for a Federation, that's... Yeah. I like this. Let's go with this. Okay, so now we have a few decisions to make, which are going to change our starting profile. I've been going back and forth on this one for a while. So commerce is going to give us population happiness, but government gives us bureaucratic points. I think that they're both good choices. The thing, government, besides giving us bureaucratic points, also gives us worker happiness. I don't really know which is harder to get, worker happiness or normal population happiness. I think I'm going to go with worker happiness and hope that... I mean, the thing is, you can always pay your workers more, so maybe it's better to go with commerce, which will also help the private economy, and that may be helpful. So let's go with that. I can't help it. I'm a technocrat. I always go with mind here. And I think democracy and meritocracy are two viable choices. Democracy is a little bit more viable than I gave it credit for at first, but I still think meritocracy gives you the best bonuses. It's all about balancing everything on a knife's edge. That's usually how I'm setting up my game. So that's not necessarily good because it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, but anyway. And for this playthrough, my goal is to actually go pretty quickly. So I've played enough Shadow Empire at this point that hopefully I can go a little bit more quickly than, at least when I first started, or even in the last series. So we got some decent cards here. The one I like the most actually is this 1000 credits. That's so helpful in the very beginning of the game. Paranoia is not the worst card to get. I think that's Fear, and Fear can actually suppress unrest. It can be a very good card for you in the very beginning. The only thing you can't get rid of, which is very difficult, is Danger. And Recruit Merc, not very useful for us, but here we go. So, again, the difference with this game is that we are not going to know any of the surrounding planet. We're going to have to discover everything that's around us. Speaking of what's around us, we have a major regime that has started 3 hexes from our capital. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then raiders immediately to our west. This is going to be a very, very, very busy opening. Okay, so I actually wrote down... I'm going to pause the stream real fast. I actually need to pull up my notes. I have a sequence of how I like to progress every turn, so I don't forget anything, and it helps me go a little bit quicker. So let me bring that up. Okay, I just started doing this, but here we go. Decisions is number 1. Let's look there. Ascension speech, yeah. Oh, interesting. Normally they give you the government one, the commerce, the society one, I should say. But this time they gave us the psychology choices. okay for me. Unfortunately, I have somebody who's not going to like my decision. I could go with Hart here. It wouldn't be the worst choice, but no, I mean, he's an advisor anyway. I mean, it's out of everyone we want to avoid offending, he's one of the people we have to least avoid offending.
Roger that.
So too bad, Mr. Apollo Nash. Hell of a name, though. New organization. I'm constantly torn between doing Interior Council and Economic. It's funny, when I do Interior Council, I really miss Economic, and when I do Economic, I really miss Interior. I feel like one of these is still better, and I'm just getting unlucky. Like the times I chose Economic Council, I had really, really crap advisors, and I really could have used the boost. But when I do Interior Council, I do feel like I'm falling behind on technology. We're going to go with Economic Council this time, and I'll do Interior Council as my second. We have the option to upgrade our town. I'm going to let that decision sit for a moment. Let's kind of take stock of the situation before we make any decisions like that. An offer to buy slaves. Oh, do we have a slaver? They're quite insistent that we should buy a group of 1,600 slaves. They say that it's only 360 credits. We're probably going to say no, which is really unfortunate. We're kind of screwed either way, but there's less meritocracy hit. You know, actually, well, too bad Nash isn't happy. I mean, this cost us 360 as well. 1,600 slaves. Does that mean population? What does slaves do for us? I'm guessing it ends up being population. I'm going to keep things simple. We don't have a whole lot of money right now, so let's say no, we will not.
Order acknowledged.
Yeah, we're going to end up going to war with whatever that is, whatever trader nation that is anyway. Interesting. Is this the farm no, it's an ice mine. Is it my farm which is growing so big? Farm level 3. Probably. So I'm guessing we have a ton of food. Okay, so this is Shadow Empire. It's a complicated game. I'm not going to be able to tutorialize it very well. Okay, number 2 on the list is go to trade. So usually in the very beginning I want to sell. In fact, although number 3 is assets and construction, I'm going to go there first, because the first order of business is for us to buy this scavenging. Nationalize that. Population happiness drops. Let's take a look at our happiness. 70 for the population and 89 for the workers. That's pretty good. That seems like a good number. Oh, what do we have here? A refugee camp. Oh, that's perfect. More population. We'll definitely be taking that. Because the planet had like 400 million on it, we are expecting to find some more ruins. This only has 6.3 for scavenging. That's not too much, but... Ooh, okay. We're going to take that, though. The big question I have is it possible... Is it possible that there's nobody in this hex? I think it is. Oh, we actually have to invade. I don't want to do that yet. My first order of business is probably just to take as much territory as I can. And then that'll probably force them to declare war on me, but... Okay, here's all their forces as well. So I'm just going to push all the way out, and then if they declare war on me, I don't have to take the fist increase, which I consider a penalty. Okay, let's go 35. It's 35 either way. Yeah, we'll push up this way first, then that way. We'll go this way. I would like to get to this city. I'll probably use one of... Do I have like a small motorized? I do. And they can get there. Perfect. I wanted to get that because the cities are kind of like loot boxes. If you remember Civilization's goody huts. Getting to cities, if you're the first person there, you have a chance of recovering some kind of Galactic Republic leftovers. So they're kind of like the goody huts. And that means we want to get there first. Okay, we can squeeze all the way over here and see what's going on, but this is a little precarious. We also do want to hold the refugee camp, so I'll probably need to park someone over here. Okay, anyways, military movement is actually the last item on my list, because sometimes you want to figure out what you want to do before you want to move. Sometimes, right? So, okay. 1 decisions, 2 trade, 3 assets and construction, 4 checking city happiness, which I already did. 5 strategic cards. Okay, so let's see what kind of strategic cards we have. Well, I know I'm going to recruit a junior because I'm going to want one next turn. So although I only have 10 political points, that might be what I want to do. Let's see. We have docile AI. We should have a lot of nation cards, though. Yeah. I don't think fear is the worst thing. See, this is why I was supposed to check the planet, because I didn't even figure out what the planet's... Yeah, it's got 11 danger. And we definitely want that to go down. Okay, so... I think I want to send... This militia doesn't have any machine guns, or I'm sorry, artillery does have machine guns. I think I'm going to send this group south. Because I think I want the main... Where's that main? Yeah, the 20 right here. They do have 20 artillery. So we're going to want this unit to move in here and do some artillery bombardment. But I think I want to do this as well. Just to get a little bit more recon. I mean, we've actually cut this guy off and that guy off. Okay, that's interesting. If we can hold the line there, that's good. I'm assuming... Okay, we have 2 more people. So let's get 1 to go up here. Now we have 1 extra to go wherever we want. This is well covered. Honestly, this unit probably should have just gone out in one of these directions that one of my numbered units have gone. So the M is for militia, and the numbers are like, I think they're battalions? Brigade. Okay, so this is the first, no, this is the brigade, and the brigade is composed of, yeah, battalion. There, it says it right there. Okay, so maybe, although we want to shift you over here, and you'll probably want to go over here eventually. We have a militia up there. I mean, this is tight quarters. I did not have this in my previous game. These are very tight quarters. Is this where our farm is? Yeah, we have an agriculture. This is actually our agriculture building. Okay, that's really good. So food won't be any problem. Let me go back to trade now that we only have 76. That's the reason why I dropped out of that, just to buy that asset. So now we can sell some things, and I think we can honestly sell all 296 that the traders are willing to buy to give us a little bit of money.
Roger that.
I think we can sell... Selling fuel is a little bit more precarious, but 0.4 is actually a pretty good buying rate for us. So we'll sell some of it. 24. This leaves us with 30. That's not a whole lot of money. I might want to save the fuel and then sell more next turn. Okay, I'm going to just go crazy and sell 80.
Roger that.
And then what we could do if we wanted is buy some metal. Metal right now is not that cheap. Well, I mean, actually 1 credit is pretty cheap. But for the very, very beginning of the game, you can find it under 1 sometimes. We have 203 credits available. How do we want to deal with that? Well, while I'm thinking about it, let's keep going through our list. So after strategic cards, which... Oh! I might just play that right away. So this is going to give a leader a +10 bonus to charisma. I think it's better for us just to take the 1,000 credits, and then we won't have any problems. So let me execute this strategy, in which case, boy, I'm a little bit late on doing that because maybe strategic cards should come before trade. I don't know. I haven't refined this list very well, but this was an effort to try to speed up gameplay. Anyway, with 1,203 credits, now we can kind of go crazy. We want to buy all these things. They're at the lowest price we're probably ever going to see for them. So the fact that we got those high-tech parts for like 140 each is amazing. Machine parts at less than 40, amazing. And I don't need to tell you, at this point you can say it with me. Finding metal for 1, it's amazing. Okay, despite the fact that I already said, sometimes you can find metal for under 1. Well, I don't think we need to buy any of these other things. We're okay on food and water for sure. Fuel, it's not like a need for us yet. And rare metals is something that we'll be using actually to sell more than buy. And then we already robbed the market of all the machines and high-tech parts. So that was good. We actually dropped ourselves all the way back down to 300. But that's good because there's probably going to be a military parade next turn. And we're going to need at least 300 for that. So let me hit the 9 key to see if there's anybody we haven't moved. 8, 9 is forward and back through the list of people you haven't moved. Yeah, so you should familiarize yourself with all the hotkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Some people don't like playing with the hexes on, but I do because I like to know exactly how far I want to go. So the last question is, with the metal that we've bought, we certainly can. You see, our population is pretty good. We certainly can, if we want, construct a bureaucratic office. And I think I want to do this. The only thing, it's going to take us 2 months, I think, to get there, just because we won't have the production, the industrial points to build it. So it's from that perspective, we might just want to wait. We might want to wait. Alternatively, we could just try to go directly for Industry 1. Now, we probably want to mine some metal first. I guess I could always build a recycling facility. Depends on how much. Okay, so in our home, the home hex, we only have 6 for scavenge. That's not that good. Only 5 next to us. Yeah, we'll want something more like... This one has 10. That's probably enough where you might benefit from getting a recycling 2. I don't think we'll build a recycling 2 here. So yeah, I think I will just build the bureaucratic office.
Yes, sir.
And that will do it for our first turn. Decisions. Nope. Okay, do I want to upgrade the city? Let's take a look. Increased by 4 due to luxury products and services. Happiness diminished by 3 due to high danger. Well, there's one thing I can do to make this a little bit better. If I can go to my governor, I do have some points.
Yes, sir.
So let's increase the public budget by 1. Decreased recruit sign-up bonus by 4 even. And then, do I want more population or recruits? I think I actually want a little bit less recruits so I have a little bit more population. We'll allow emergency food because I don't think food's going to be a problem. I don't think food will be a problem for them either, but since it won't be a problem from us, I'll allow them to take food from us if they need it. And I think that's all we want to do is confirm those orders. This will give us a simple bonus to... Okay, and that means that we will just ask to be asked later about upgrading since we don't have political points now to do that. But it will impact the quality of life expectations, so it's probably better not to do that quite yet. So we end their turn. Now we get to see what the raiders are going to do. So that's probably going to bring this first episode to a close. I'm going to try to keep these episodes shorter. And what I want to do is just spend a lot of time off camera in between episodes, making sure that I'm processing all the various decisions. Try not to spend too much time scratching my head on camera. Yeah, again, the idea is let's make this series a little bit quicker, move a little bit faster. Now this is a slow game, and this really complicated game that really... Okay, we were attacked. They lost. So we didn't lose anything in the second fight, but what did we lose in the first? Oh, we lost none. This is a great start for us then. Very good. So yeah, this is definitely a game that incentivizes thoughtful playthroughs. You won't find like lightning civilization turns in this. Oh wow, we secured 25 machinery. Woo! That is like I don't know. I'm like shocked. That's like 1,000 money. That's quite good. So, okay, 200 credits. Not quite as nice, but 9 more machinery. I would love to see some metal. 22 machinery. My goodness. After we just bought some. Okay, we got those. So no losses so far. We'll start thinking about how we're going to deal with Salzburg, which is a major. It is a major, so they are, they have just as much of a military as we do, and they're going to be difficult to deal with. So we'll think about how to deal with them in the next episode. So for now, because this is the first episode in the series, if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button, giving it the thumbs up just to help me, just increase the visibility of this on YouTube, I'd greatly appreciate that. And aside from that, Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. I'll catch you back for the next one. Until then, take care.